Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Coaching Corner with me, Jamila, aka the IEP Coach. I am the founder and CEO of the IEP Coach LLC. We are an education consulting company, and we specialize in providing special education support to to special education teachers, teams, and paraprofessionals so they can thrive in their roles and help keep their schools out of litigation. Because we don't want that. We don't want you in litigation. We're going to give SPED teachers the training and support that they need so they can also thrive in their roles. Okay? That's just a little bit about us at the IEP Coach. Come on in. Come on in. As you are coming in, let me know where you are tuning in from. And we're going to have a great live tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about special education teachers' favorite thing in the whole wide world, progress monitoring. It is not their favorite thing. It is the most stressful thing, but that's why we're going to talk about it tonight. Tonight's topic is Progress Monitoring 101. Avoid the headache. So if you know a special education teacher, share out this live with them. They don't want to miss this, okay? They don't want to miss this, all right? So you definitely want to share out this live with special education teachers. And if it's a gen ed teacher, you can share it out with them as well. But I'm speaking to my SPED teachers tonight. All right, so go ahead and share out this live. And as I'm telling you to share it out, I am sharing out the live as well. I hope everybody had a safe weekend, had a good time. You got rest. I got some rest. So I'm happy about that. I got some rest. So I'm happy about that. And we are streaming on our Instagram, our YouTube, our LinkedIn, and our Facebook page. I always forget one. Like, what's that last one? All right. So, all right, let's share out this live. Let's go here. And, all right, sharing out the live. All right. I think we are good. And before we get started and we jump right into the content for tonight, so we're going to talk about Progress Monitoring 101, like I told you guys, because that's SPED teacher's favorite thing in the world. It is the most stressful thing because there's so much you got to do. But we're going to talk about it tonight so that way you leave this live with some actionable tips, okay? Some actionable tips that can help you in your role. And if you hear this, hey, share this live out with them later. Like, listen, the IEP coach was dropping some gems about this progress monitoring, because everybody, if you work in a school, everybody has to do progress monitoring. You got gen ed teachers, you got special education teachers. Everybody needs to know how to do progress monitoring. You do any type of case management, everybody needs to know how to do progress monitoring. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight. But before we get started, I want to remind you to make sure you subscribe to our IEP newsletter, the IEP Insider. It is chunked with gems and strategies that you can apply right away. So you definitely want to subscribe, and we drop a new edition every single Wednesday. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the comments for you, so that way you can go ahead and subscribe, because the new edition is coming out tomorrow. So again, you definitely want to make sure that you are subscribed, that you are a subscriber, so that way you can get the email, you get the notification that we have a new edition out. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. Okay. Let's jump on in. All right. So I told you guys you're talking about progress monitoring. Now, have you ever dreaded doing progress monitoring? If you dreaded doing progress monitoring, I want you to put a sad face in the comments. Do that like, you know that emoji? It's like, put that in the comments, or put a sad face in the comments. Have you dreaded doing progress monitoring? And progress monitoring, for those of you who don't know, is when you are monitoring the progress of students with a particular skill, or it could be their goal. In a SPED teacher's case, it's their goals. Have you ever dreaded doing that? I know I have. I hate it. And yes, I'm using the H word. I hated doing progress monitoring. And the reason I hated it so much was because, one, the school where I was, we didn't really have a system, and no one ever taught me a system. Then I had so many students. I had a lot of students on my case, so I didn't know where to begin, and I didn't know what to use. And then there were times like I'm collecting it, but I don't know what to do with this data. Like I didn't know what to do with it. So that's a reason why I hated progress monitoring. I really did. I hated it with a passion. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hated it with a passion. And when I switched to just strictly 7th grade English, I was an emotional support teacher too. So I had to track, progress monitor behavior. Oh, tracking behavior sucks. Oh my gosh. Especially if it's daily or weekly. It's just a lot. So, okay, so I can see the comments coming in, and I can see people's feelings. Okay, everybody don't like progress monitor, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to give you some tips on how to, we're going to get there. We're going to get there, okay? Because I have been in schools where, hey, we just put numbers in. Some people just put numbers in the progress report and just wrote anything in the progress report without having 100% straight data. You know what I mean? That was 100% the student. So I've been in places where progress monitoring was not being done with fidelity. All right. We have a comment here. Is it Novora? No. Novero? Raina? I hope I said your name right. I apologize if I said it wrong. I'm an instructional assistant, and the teacher has a great system down, and I help her progress monitor. Oh my God. I loved my instructional assistants. They were like my right hands when it came to progress monitoring, because I had all my students, they went out to their classes. They was in a gen ed setting. So Raina, thank you. I apologize for mispronouncing it. Raina. So they had the IEP at a glances. They knew, they had everything. They would remind teachers to complete the rubrics that I had for the student. I loved my, shout out to all the instructional assistants and all the paraprofessionals. Shout out to y'all, because you guys help us. Mine's definitely helped me do my job. And there needs to be more respect given to instructional assistants as well as paraprofessionals, because they bring so much to the role, and they can really help you. They can really be like a co-teacher for you if you utilize your instructional assistant and your paraprofessional correctly. All right. So, okay, so progress monitoring is basically you're monitoring your students' progress with their skills or with their goals. Now, you may say, well, why do we have to do that? You progress monitor because you need to know, is the student progressing in that skill that you are instructing them on? Are they improving in their behavior? Whatever you're tracking, we need to show, hey, are they getting better or are they getting worse? Like, are they getting better or are they regressing? Are they not moving at all? Okay, so you want to make sure you're monitoring the progress. You want to make sure, especially if you're a special education teacher, it protects you because you're making sure you're monitoring the IEP goals. That really can help you stay out of litigation, because you have data to show that the student is progressing if they are, but you're continuously collecting data to show how the student is functioning in their special education program. Or if you're a gen ed teacher, you can show how a student is doing with a particular skill or goal. And it also lets you know what program they have or what you're doing, if it's actually working or not. That's one of the big things progress monitoring does for you. It lets you know, is this working? Is this strategy working, or is it not working for this student? Is this program working for the student, or is it not working? Okay. And then your progress monitoring is going to guide your instruction. Okay. Because the data you get from the progress monitoring is letting you know, like, oh, hey, I can give this student some harder problems. Or we can go a little further, or it's going to tell you, okay, I need to go back. I need to break this down some more for the student. So progress monitoring helps to drive your instruction. Okay. Now, I've seen progress monitoring gone wrong. I told you. Some teachers either don't do it at all because, one, they don't know how. They don't have no tools. They don't have no system. You need a progress monitoring system, and it needs to be a solid system and it's a consistent system. Okay? Now, here are the 3 mistakes people make when they're doing progress monitoring. You collect everything and you track nothing. It's like, okay, I'm going to collect this math data, I'm going to collect this reading data, this comprehension data, I'm going to collect data on how many words per minute they're reading, I'm collecting data on the word problems, I'm collecting data on calculate. First of all, you're collecting everything, but you don't even know what you're going to do with that. But you're not tracking nothing. Another thing, teachers, I know we love our sticky notes. You put everything on your sticky notes, but then you might lose the sticky notes. So you got random data all over the place. It's different if, okay, you have the sticky notes, you have a date on it, you have the student initial or name on it, and you stick it in their binder so you know, okay, this date is when they did this, and they did this, and you put it in their binder so you don't lose it. That's different. That's different from you got all these sticky notes and you just have random data all over the place. You don't have no dates on it. You don't have no initials or a name on it. So you don't know whose data that is. Okay? Another mistake is you use tools that don't align with the IEP goals. Like, you're not using something that's going to help you track the students' IEP goals. If their reading goal is focusing on reading comprehension, you don't need to focus on fluency. You need to be you don't need to have probes and things focusing on fluency. You need to make sure you're doing comprehension probes with that student because you need to track comprehension. You need to see how are they doing with comprehending text. Okay? And then another thing, you wait until the last minute to do your progress monitoring. Oh my God. And I think I'm giving you more than 3. But these are some common mistakes. You wait till the last minute. You get so overwhelmed because you're like, oh my God, progress reports are due in a week or they do 2 weeks. You got maybe 24 students that you should have been tracking data for, and you feel overwhelmed now. You're rushing. You're waiting because you waited to the last minute. This creates stress. You have sloppy data, and it does not serve your students. Okay? It does not serve your students. All right? So, let's go into some solutions. We talked about the problems, but now let's go into some solutions and some strategies that you can utilize in your practice so that way your progress monitoring can improve, or you can have a progress monitoring system because some of you may not even have a system right now. All right. So first, you need to make sure, and we're going to do 3 simple things that you can do. Ooh, excuse me. You want to choose one consistent tool per goal. Okay. So you don't have so you're not scattered all over the place. Okay, so let's say the student has comprehension goals, they got writing goals. Okay, figure out, okay, what are you going to use to track reading comprehension? That's going to be one tool. What are you going to use to track their writing? That's going to be another tool. So you have your tools, your tool that you track for comprehension. You have your one tool that you track for the writing. Okay, choose one consistent tool for whatever you're tracking. Okay? Set up your data days. So make sure you have your days where you're like, okay, I'm going to collect data for the comprehension. I'm going to collect data on my students' goals. So whatever their goals are, this is the day or days that you will collect it. So maybe one day will be your math data day, and then your other day could be your reading comprehension data day. Set up your data days a week, okay? So every week you're collecting data consistently, okay? So you may say, hey, Monday and Wednesday I'm going to collect data. It could be Tuesday and Thursday I'm going to collect data. Or it could be just your one day. This is my day I'm collecting data from everybody, okay? Do what works for you. Now, figure out which tool, like templates and technology, that's going to help you with collecting the data. Okay, and I'm also going to add one more thing. Have your date, when you set up your data days, Have your days where you're going to collect the data. Have your day where you're going to analyze the data. Because collecting the data, this is you getting information from the student. Okay, so they did this probe on Monday. They did this other probe on Tuesday. Next week, you did the same thing. You collected data. Make sure you have a day where you're analyzing that data. So you're going through, you're seeing patterns. Okay, this student is consistently getting 80%, 85s, 90s on these reading comprehensions. That is data, and you're tracking it each week. Is letting you know this student is doing well, and perhaps comprehension is not the need there. Okay, so data days include you collecting the data, and then you also have a day to analyze your data. Because a lot of times as teachers, you collect your data, but you don't have time to analyze it because you're so focused on collecting the data. So just as you devote attention to collecting the data, you got to make sure you make time to analyze your data. So let's say Monday you collect data, Wednesday you analyze it, or Tuesday you collect it, Friday you analyze it. Whichever works for you. And then figure out which tech you're going to use or templates that you're going to use to get that information. Okay, so for me, I told you I was an emotional support teacher. I had to progress monitor behavior. So I use Google Sheets a lot. I use Google Sheets because I could I would put a screenshot of the rubric I had because I wanted the form I send the teachers to be electronic, so that way it's confidential. Because if a student lost their behavior chart, you lost my data. This way, you can't lose. I'm not going to be able to lose my data. So I would put their information on the Google Sheet. I would do a screenshot of the paper rubric, and then I had a chart with the teachers' names, all their teachers' names, the subjects, and then what I was tracking was I was tracking the student completing the work. I was tracking the student being respectful to the teacher. I was also tracking self-advocacy, advocating for themselves. So 3 was the highest, 1 was the lowest. The teachers could put a 1, 2, or a 3, and they could leave comments at the bottom. And I would just, every week, I shared that sheet with the parents. You can use a Google form. Do the same thing. Send it to the teachers so they can collect the data. Okay, now in younger grades like elementary, you have charts. You may have charts because you send it home. You might color it in, talk about it with the student, talk about how they're doing, how their day was, what went on, and then you take it home for the parent to sign, and you might have the parent sign. And they get upper in the grades, it's like, okay, you don't want to single them out because they feel some type of way that they may have a chart. So this is another reason why I did it electronically. Okay, so that's what I use. All right, do you guys have any favorite tools that you use or any systems that you know work really well? Raina said I agree. Do any of you, like, I know some schools use what is it? I'm about to say School Watch. That's not what it's called. I can see it. Oh my God. I know some schools use Skyward. Some schools use AimsWeb. Excuse me. Some schools use AimsWeb. Their IEP system is on Skyward. Excuse me. Some schools use what is it? CBM. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. That's one to use because there are actual some progress monitoring platform systems that your school can purchase, and all of your data can go in there. It creates a chart for you, and you can copy and paste that chart into your progress monitoring report. Some schools have that. My favorite tools were Google tools to use. I love to use Google tools because I didn't have to save it. And it was just easy for me to use, and it was easy for me to share it with parents. That's one of the biggest reasons why I loved to use Google. Anything Google Forms, Google Sheets. I loved it. Oh, do I like CBM? She asked, do I like CBM? I used it 1 year. I think it was 2 years. I did ESY tutoring, and ESY tutoring. And then when I used to tutor students, I would use CBM. I know some schools use it. I liked it. It was pretty good. But yeah, it was pretty good because you could do fluency checks on there. You could do the math. You could do the reading on there. But I want to say I did like AimsWeb a little more because it was a more sophisticated system to me, because I could then, like, my students had logins for Ames Web, and I could assign their progress monitoring that I needed them to complete. I could assign it to them, and they could go in and complete it and be done. And then, like, if I was doing like fluency checks for anybody, which when I taught 7th grade, it wasn't too many. Like, once they was reading 150 words per minute, we didn't really track fluency, but like some still did. So I could sit them in front of me and do the thing. I could do all of it right there online, and I loved it because it would then populate my data for each student and put it in a graph for me. Like each thing, thing I was progress monitoring. If I was progress monitoring the fluency, if I was progress monitoring the math, it could, it would put the, it would total up the data for me and create the chart for me. That's what I love the most, because that when I did the progress reports, the parents could see the chart and I could put a blurb under it explaining the chart. So I'll say I liked Ames Web more than I liked CBM. So yes. Oops. Hold up. So yes. All right. So we've gone through what's hard about it. Progress. We talked about progress monitoring. What's hard about it. We talked about some simple hacks to make it easier. So let's just do like a quick, before we do a quick recap, change your mindset about progress monitoring. It doesn't have to be a nightmare. It doesn't have to be a headache. When you're organized, you have your system, you have your tools that you're going to use. You know what you're going to use when you're tracking comprehension. You know what you're using when you track behavior. You know what you're going to use if you track writing, and so on. It's much more manageable. Okay. So when you have the right system and support, it can guide your teaching instead of running your life. Because when I tell you I hated progress monitoring, yes, I did. I hated doing it. Hate it. All right. But here's the thing. Progress monitoring is just one piece of it. It's just one piece of the puzzle. You've also got math, you have social emotional learning, you have writing, you have IEP compliance, parent communication you got to do, and it's too much to do alone. Okay, so you got to make sure you definitely have systems in place that are working for you. Okay, and if you don't know how to do something, go to your SPED supervisor, go to your SPED director, ask them to help you. Okay, because it makes no sense you're doing, because first of all, being a SPED teacher is already a lot, and then you don't know how to do something. They need to show you how to do it. Okay, and don't be too proud to ask for help. All right, so let's do now. The reason I'm talking about progress monitoring is because it's going into something that we created at the IEP Coach. Okay? You can't do all this by yourself. Progress monitoring, you need help. Like, oh my God, I would love to go in more deeper detail with you guys and help you set up your systems. But you can't do it alone. You can't. You need help. You need a community. You need someone to guide you, someone who knows how to do it. And this is why I created SPEDucators RISE. Okay, this is our group coaching program specifically designed for special education teachers. Okay, this is why we created SPEDucators RISE, because you can't do it alone. You need the support, you need the coaching, you need the community, you need the help. This is why we created that. Okay, and we pack so much in that. So you get the direct support from me. It's an 8-week program. You get the direct support from me. It's like you're getting you're getting PD directly from the IEP coach. What? Yes. Then we have our asynchronous videos from our experts and math instruction for small group for your students who have IEPs, social emotional learning, how to integrate the arts, which tech to use in your teaching, and also teaching our English language learners. Who else is giving you that information? Nobody. And you have yours truly giving you support with writing, because that's what I did. That's what I taught. English, all writing. We taught all the things writing, and you got tools in there to help you. And you get access to the Master IEP course when you're in the SPEDucators RISE group coaching program. Okay? So, if today's live gave you value, imagine what 8 weeks of support can do for you. and can do for your classroom and your sanity and trickle down and for your students. Okay? All right, so listen up. Listen. We are starting, our cohort is going to be starting in November, but we opened up our wait list. So listen, you know someone that needs to get on this wait list. You want to get on this wait list. You need to go ahead and get on this wait list. Add your information so that way once we launch, you will be the first to know. All right, I'm going to drop it. Oh, excuse me, in the comments. You will be the first to know. All right. So I just dropped the link in the comments. Definitely take advantage. Share it with someone who you know needs it. Share the wait list with someone who you know needs the support. Okay. And if you're on Instagram, you can click the link in the bio. All right. So let's do a quick recap before we get out of here. So, recap. Stop collecting random data. Get organized. Okay? Get organized with your data and be clear on what you're collecting. Align tools with the goals. So if you're progress monitoring comprehension, make sure the tool you're using is going to give you the data you need for comprehension. Build consistency with your simple routines. Okay? Have your data days. Have your day you collect data, your day that you analyze data. Okay? And see what system you're going to use for your progress monitoring. Are you going to use Google Forms? Are you going to use Google Sheets? Are you going to use Google Docs? Are you going to use just pencil and paper? What are you going to use? And when it's time to do those progress reports, hey, do you have a system that can make the charts for you and everything? Or, hey, do you got to make your own chart? Those are things you got to think about. All right. So just want to remind you guys again, make sure you subscribe to our IEP Insider newsletter. We drop a new edition every single Wednesday. So make sure you are a subscriber so you'll be the first to know once it hits those emails. Okay. And listen, I wish SPEDucators was around when I first started my career as a special education teacher. I wish I had this program. I wish I had a coaching program like this, because this program would have had me set. You hear me? It would have had me set. So I'm going to drop the link again for you to join the wait list and pass it on to somebody who needs it. All right? Do we have any questions? Any questions? Oh my gosh, we went to I told you we'd be either doing 15 minutes or we go up to 30. Any questions? Let me see. Do we got any questions? Any questions? All right, I don't see any questions. But if questions come to you later, feel free to DM us. We are very responsive. You can send us an email as well. Remember, be kind to yourself. Be mindful of what your capacity is. You're one person. You're only able to do what you are capable of doing. Please be mindful of that and don't burn yourself out. Okay? I will see you guys next week, next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Coaching Corner. Have a good and safe evening. Peace.